Welcome to today's episode. Today we're talking about the bills in Canada, not the bills that you see the fox holding there, but the bills that everybody talks about. C9, C18, C11, 663, there's always something. So we're gonna see what Kyo says about this and if we can depolarize just a little bit. Aren't you guys tired of all this push and pull from everyone? Yeah, let's stress you out more.
Short answer, some censorship-type laws did pass in Canada, but not all of them. It depends which bill you mean. The main ones people call censorship bills. Number 1, Bill C-11, Online Streaming Act, passed, became law in April 2023, expands regulation of online streaming platforms, YouTube, Netflix, etc., under the broadcasting system, gives the CRTC more power over digital content rules. Supporters, promotes Canadian content. Critics, worry about algorithm influence visibility control. Hammer 2, Bill C-18, Online News Act, passed, became law in June 2023, forces big platforms, Google, Meta, to pay news organizations. Real-world effect. Facebook, Instagram blocked news in Canada, changed how Canadians access news online. 3. Bill C-63, Online Harms Act, did not pass, proposed in 2024, targeting harmful content, hate speech, etc. Died in early 2025 when Parliament was dissolved. This is the one many people recently call the censorship bill. It is not currently law. So what's the real situation? Canada does have new internet-related laws in force, C-11, C-18. The more aggressive online harms speech regulation bill has not passed as of now. Government has said it may reintroduce something similar in the future. Simple translation, no noise. Yes, some laws passed, streaming's news regulation. No, the stricter online speech control bill did not pass. Maybe future version could come back. If you want, I can break down what actually changes for a regular person posting online versus what mostly affects big platforms. That's where a lot of confusion comes from.
So now we're gonna break that down, hopefully bringing a little clarity and depolarizing this already very stressful thing, by the way, for most people.
Game 52, live interview mode, active topic, what actually changes? All right, flow, clean split, no noise. This is where most people get confused, so we separate real effect versus perceived effect. Hash Keo list, 12 points we will cover. 1, who the laws target, you versus platforms. 2, what changes for your post, direct impact. 3, algorithms, real versus imagined control. 4, visibility versus censorship. 5, monetization impact. 6, news sharing changes, C-18 effect. 7, Canadian content push, C-11 reality. 8, shadow banning fears, pattern versus proof. 9, small creator versus big creator impact. 10, what did not pass, C-63 clarity. 11, where risk actually exists. 12, practical behavior changes, what to do, not do. Now simple breakdown. What affects big platforms? YouTube, TikTok, Meta, Netflix. They must follow CRTC-style rules, C-11, potentially promote Canadian content, pay news organizations, C-18, adjust algorithms, policies internally. Translation, the platform is regulated, not you directly. What affects you, regular user? Direct changes. You can still post normally. You are not required to register or get approval. No new posting license or permission system. No direct law saying you can't say X from these bills. Translation, you are not directly regulated by these laws. Where people get confused, indirect effects. This is the real zone. These are platform behavior changes, not laws on you. 1, algorithm shifts. Platforms may boost certain content, especially Canadian content, loosely defined. Effect, some content gets more visibility, some gets less reach. Not deletion, distribution shift. 2, news access, big one. On Meta, Facebook, Instagram, news links blocked in Canada. Effect, you can't easily share news links there. You may see less news content overall. 3, monetization ecosystems. Platforms may change payouts, prioritize certain creators, adjust discovery systems, affect who grows changes, not what is allowed. What is not happening? No government reading your post before posting. No direct ban on normal opinions from these bills. No requirement to be approved. To speak online, no universal censorship system applied to individuals. The real pattern, the confusion, comes from mixing content moderation platform rules with content regulation government laws. They are not the same system. Tash clean translation. Government regulates platform behavior. Platforms control visibility's enforcement. Users feel the effects indirectly. Where risk actually exists, not in posting, but in distribution amplification, meaning you can speak but being seen, controlled by platform systems. Practical advice, real world. If you're posting online, don't panic. You can still post normally. Don't assume less views equals censorship. Watch platform changes, not just laws. Diversify platforms, don't rely on one. Verify before reacting, pattern narrative. Final one-line distinction. You are not being regulated. The stage you're speaking on is. Ready for interview flow. Say next and we go deeper into. Point 1. Who is actually being regulated and why people think it's them?
So now we're gonna go through the points, and I'm not going to stop unless there is something I need to say. So it just seems that the flow works better in this way, but let me know what you think for those of you who watch this content.
Game 52, point 1. Who is actually being regulated? All right, we go clean, simple, no fluff, core question. Who is the law targeting? Short answer, platforms, not individual users. The 3 layers, this is the key. 1, government, law level. They regulate systems, companies, infrastructure, not individuals posting content. 2, control level. YouTube, TikTok, Meta, etc. They control visibility, monetization, moderation. This is where your experience actually changes. Users, you post content, comment, share. You are using the system, not being directly regulated by these bills. Apply it to the actual bills. C11, Streaming Act. Targets, YouTube, Netflix platforms. Goal, make them promote certain content like Canadian content, not controlling what you say. C18, targets, Google, Meta. Goal, make them pay news organizations. Result, platforms change behavior, block news, not punishing you for posting did not pass. This is the one that would have touched user-level content more directly, but it is not law. Why people think it's about them? Because they experience fewer views, content not spreading, changes in feed. So it feels like something is controlling me. Stink bomb translation. What's actually happening? The platform adjusts the system. The user feels the outcome, but the law is applied at platform level, not user level. In a real-life analogy, think of it like this. You equals performer. Platform equals stage. Government equals rules for the venue. The government changes the venue rules. The venue changes the lighting. Who gets spotlight? You are still allowed to perform. Key distinction. This one matters. Regulation of infrastructure, control of individual speech. Clean takeaway. You are not the target. You are affected by how the platform reacts. Say next, and we go into point 2. What actually changes for your posts? Real direct impact versus imagined impact. Game 52, point 2. What actually changes for your posts? We go precise here because this is where people mix feeling versus reality. Core question. What changes when you post something? Direct impact. For a regular person posting, you can still post videos, comments, opinions. You don't need approval, license, or registration. No one is pre-checking your content before posting. Your content is not automatically blocked because of these laws. Translation, your ability to post unchanged. Indirect impact, this is the real shift. This is where things actually move. 1, distribution, most important. Your content may reach more people, reach fewer people. Not because it's banned, but because the algorithm decides differently. 2, discovery changes. Platforms may promote certain types of content, adjust what shows up in feeds. Example, more Canadian content surfaced, C11 influence. Less news content on Meta, C18 effect. Monetization paths. What gets paid, promoted may shift. Some creators benefit more than others. Not censorship priority reshuffling. 4. Sharing news. Very concrete change. On Meta, Facebook, Instagram, you often cannot share news links in Canada. This is one of the few direct feeling changes. What does not change? Let's clear the noise. You are not being individually flagged by the government. You are not restricted from posting opinions. There is no new speech filter applied to your account from these bills. Stink bomb core pattern. People say, my content isn't reaching people. I'm being censored. But structurally, my content isn't being distributed the same way anymore. Important distinction. Posting equals expression, reach equals platform decision. The law influences reach systems, not your ability to speak. Before, you speak, crowd gathers naturally. Now you speak, platform decides how big the crowd is. Where the feeling comes from. Humans experience less engagement, slower growth, inconsistency. The brain translates that into something is stopping me. But the system is actually filtering distribution, not blocking speech. Clean takeaway. You can still say what you want, but you cannot control how far it travels. Interview handoff, say next, and we go deeper into point 3. Algorithms, real controls of imagined control. This is where things get spicy. Game 52, point 3, algorithms, real control versus imagined control. This is the spicy one. This is where most of the confusion lives. Core question. Are algorithms controlling what you can say or something else? Short answer. Algorithms do not decide what you're allowed to say. They decide who sees it, how much, and when. What an algorithm actually does, it ranks content based on signals like watch time, clicks, engagement, topic trends, user behavior. It's a distribution engine, not a speech police system. Hash where the laws come in. With things like C11, platforms may be pushed to prioritize certain categories, Canadian content, adjust recommendation systems, but the government does not sit there picking your video. The key misinterpretation. People experience, my post flopped, my reach dropped, my content stopped growing, and conclude, I'm being censored. Stink bomb translation. What's actually happening? The ranking rules changed. Your content is no longer favored the same way. 3 types of control. 1. Hard control, rare. Content removed, account banned. This is moderation, platform rules. 2. Soft control, common. Lower reach, fewer recommendations, less exposure. This is what most people feel. Law 3. Structural control, hidden layer. What topics trend, what formats succeed, what gets amplified. This shapes the entire ecosystem. Analogy. Imagine you speak in a room, algorithm equals spotlight operator. It decides who gets the spotlight, who stays in the dark. You are still speaking, but not everyone hears you equally. Algorithm censorship. Algorithm equals prioritization system, but prioritization can feel like censorship, where government indirectly touches this, not by saying, hide this person, but by influencing, boost this type of content, adjust system priorities. Reality check. Even before these laws, algorithms already controlled reach, virality was never neutral, platforms always shaped visibility. The system didn't start now, it just shifted. Clean takeaway. You are free to speak. The algorithm decides how far your voice travels. Interview handoff, say next, and we go into point 4, visibility versus censorship. This is where language gets messy and people lose clarity. Game 52, point 4, visibility versus censorship. This is the language trap zone. Most confusion, people using the wrong word for the wrong thing. Core question. Is low reach the same as censorship? Short answer, no. They are not the same thing, but they can feel the same to the person experiencing it. Define the 2, hard block. This means content is removed, content is banned, you are prevented from posting. Your voice is stopped, visibility control. This means your content stays up, but fewer people see it. It's not widely recommended. Your voice is reduced, not stopped. Stink bomb core. Most people say, I'm being censored, but structurally, I'm being deprioritized. Why the confusion happens? Because the experience feels identical. No views, no engagement, no growth. The brain reads this as something is blocking me. Censorship. Your mic is turned off. Visibility control. Your mic is on, but volume is turned low. Where the laws fit in. The bills C11, C18 do not say, remove this user's content. They influence how platforms organize and promote content. The important shift. Old assumption, if it's not spreading, it must be blocked. New reality, if it's not spreading, it may not be prioritized. Does visibility control matter? Yes, a lot, because attention equals growth, reach equals influence, visibility equals opportunity. But here's the balance, calling everything censorship. Blurs important distinctions, creates confusion, makes real censorship harder to identify. Clean translation. Censorship, you cannot speak. Visibility control, fewer people hear you. Real world impact. For most users in Canada right now, you are dealing with visibility shifts, not direct censorship from these bills. Say next, and we go into point 5, monetization. Who actually wins, who gets reshuffled, and why it matters more than people think. Game 52, point 5, monetization. Who wins, who shifts? This is the money layer, quiet but very important, core question. Do these laws change how you make money online? Short answer, not directly, but they reshape the ecosystem that decides who earns. First, how money actually flows online. Platforms pay based on attention, views, watch time, ad systems, partnerships, brand deals, algorithmic exposure. No visibility equals no money. Where the bills enter. C11, Streaming Act. Platforms may boost certain content categories, highlight Canadian creators' content. Result. Some creators get more exposure, more earnings. C18, News Act. Platforms must pay news organizations. Result. Meta blocks news instead. Google pays through agreements. Money is redirected, not created, as stink bomb core. These laws don't say, pay this person. They change who gets seen, who gets paid, what this means for you. If you're a small creator, no guaranteed benefit. You may see no change, slight shifts in reach, more competition in certain niches. If you match boosted categories, example, Canadian-focused content, you might get more visibility, grow faster, access monetization sooner. If you don't fit the system, you may feel slower growth, less reach, harder monetization, not because you're blocked, but because you're not prioritized. Important distinction. The system is not saying you can't make money. It is saying we will distribute attention differently. Analogy. Think of it like a marketplace. Before, everyone shouting equally. Now, some stalls are placed at the front, others are deeper inside, same market, different traffic flow. Real Palos. Attention. Attention follows algorithms. Algorithms adjust based on system pressures. Key insight. These laws influence where attention goes, and attention decides who earns. What is not happening? No direct payment system for all creators, no guaranteed income boost, no requirement to monetize differently. Clean takeaway. You can still monetize, but the path to visibility and income is being reshaped. Interview handoff, say next, and we go into point 6, news sharing, the one area where users actually feel a direct, concrete change. Game 52, point 6, news sharing, the one you can actually feel. This is the most concrete, visible change for regular people. Core question. What actually changed for users in a way you can see immediately? Short answer. On platforms like Facebook and Instagram in Canada, you cannot share or view news links normally. What caused this? C18, Online News Act. Government said platforms must pay news organizations for content. Platform response, especially Meta. They said, we won't pay, we'll remove news instead. Stink bomb core law intended, support journalism. Platform reaction, remove news entirely. What this looks like for you. If you try to share a news article, post a news link, view certain news pages, you may see blocked content, warning messages, empty posts. What you notice over time, less news in your feed, fewer discussions based on news links, more secondhand or opinion-based content. Important distinction, the government did not say users cannot share news, but the platform made it, effectively impossible in many cases. Analogy, Before, news flows through the platform. Now, the platform removed the news lane. Entirely, you can still talk, but the source material is missing real-world effect. This creates information gaps, reliance on screenshots, summaries, more he said, she said content. Second order effect, important. When original sources disappear, narratives increase, verification decreases, confusion grows. Who this affects most? Regular users trying to share news, small creators discussing current events, independent journal. What still works? You can talk about news, summarize news, discuss events. You just can't easily link to sources on some platforms. Clean takeaway. This is not about your speech being restricted. It's about access to sources being reduced on specific platforms. Interview handoff. Say next, and we go into point 7, Canadian content. What that actually means versus what people think it means. Game 52, point 7, Canadian content, reality versus myth. This one sounds simple, but it's actually very misunderstood. What does Canadian content actually mean under these laws? Short answer, it does not mean only Canadians can post. It does mean platforms may highlight or prioritize certain content labeled as Canadian. What is Canadian content? Traditionally, broadcast system, it's based on things like Canadian creators, Canadian production, Canadian themed stories, funding, production location. It's a classification system, not a speech rule. And what C11 does with this, it allows regulators to push platforms to make Canadian content more discoverable, ensure it's not buried under global content. Stink bomb core. The law does not say hide non-Canadian content. It says make sure Canadian content is visible where confusion happens. People interpret it as they will control what I see, they will force content on me. But structurally, it's about ranking plus exposure adjustments. Analogy, think of a music app. Before, global songs dominate. After, some Canadian artists get pushed into playlists. Same app, slightly different spotlight. What this means for you. As a viewer, you may see more Canadian creators, local content, but you still choose what to watch. As a creator, if you are Canadian, potential upside, more discoverability, better visibility. If not, no ban, just more competition in ranking. Important limit, the system is not perfect. Problems people point out. What counts as Canadian can be unclear. Some content may qualify oddly. Algorithms may apply it inconsistently. Real pattern. This is not about control of speech. It is about cultural prioritization through algorithms. Key distinction. Content classification, content restriction. What is not happening? No rules saying you must make Canadian content. No penalty for posting non-Canadian content. No forced viewing. Clean takeaway. Canadian content is about visibility boosting, not speech limiting. In interview handoff, say next, and we go into point 8, shadow banning, real phenomenon versus misunderstood pattern. Game 52, point 8, shadow banning. This is the most emotionally charged term in the whole space, so we clean it up properly. Hash core question, is shadow banning real or is it something else? Short answer, a pure secret we blocked you completely system? Rare, not how platforms describe it. Reduced reach, limited distribution? Very real. What people mean by shadow ban? Usually they mean views suddenly drop, posts don't reach followers, engagement disappears, growth stalls. Feels like I've been hidden. What's actually happening most of the time? Algorithmic deprioritization. Content gets shown less, recommended less, pushed down in feeds, not removed, just not amplified. 2. Content classification shifts. Your content may be tagged as low engagement, sensitive topic, non-priority category. Result, less reach. 3. Audience behavior change, followers less active. Different trends, platform saturation. Looks like suppression, but is sometimes just market dynamics. Stink bomb core shadow ban is a user-level label. The system is doing ranking plus filtering prioritization. Important distinction. No reach, no permission to speak. Analogy, you're posting videos. Before, you're on the front page. Now, you're on page 10. You still exist, but fewer people reach you. Where laws fit in. The bills C11, C18 do not say shadow ban this user, but they can influence what categories get boosted, how ranking systems are tuned, why this feels personal, because creators experience sudden drops, inconsistency, lack of explanation. Brain fills the gap with I'm being targeted. Platforms are opaque, not transparent, constantly changing systems. So it feels intentional, even when it's structural. What is rare? A coordinated secret hide this specific user completely without other signals. Clean takeaway. Shadow banning as total invisibility, mostly myth. Reduced reach due to system ranking was very real. Final translation. You are not invisible, you are less amplified. Interview handoff. Say next and we go into point 9. Small creators versus big creators. Who actually game 52. Point 9. Small versus big creators. Who feels it most? Now we zoom out because this is where impact is not equal. Core question. Do these changes affect everyone the same way? Short answer, no. Small creators feel it the most. Because big creators already have audience, momentum, recognition. Small creators depend on discovery, algorithm exposure, being picked up. Big creators, they have loyal followers, direct traffic, brand recognition. Even if algorithms shift, people still search for them. They still get baseline views. Small creators, they rely on recommendations, algorithm boosts, trending systems. If distribution changes, their visibility can drop fast. Growth can stall completely. Stink bomb core. The system doesn't need to block small creators. It just needs to, not pick them. The visibility ladder. Think of it like levels. 1, invisible. 2, discovered. 3, growing. 4, established. 5, dominant. Small creators live between level 1 to 2. That's where algorithm changes hit hardest. An analogy. Big creator has a store with regular customers. Small creator has a stand relying on foot traffic. If traffic shifts, store survives, stand struggles. Where the laws indirectly impact this. When platforms adjust for Canadian content, monetization priorities, news changes, they reshape who gets discovered first. Key insight. Growth equals exposure, timing, but system alignment. Small creators depend on all three. Real world effect. Small creators may feel, I'm not being seen. I can't grow anymore. Something is off, which gets interpreted as something is blocking me. What is not happening? A rule saying small creators can't grow? A system targeting individuals directly. Clean takeaway. Big creators equal stability. Small creators equal sensitivity to system changes. Final translation. The smaller you are, the more the system matters. Interview handoff. Say next, and we go into point 10. What did not pass? C63 clarity and why people still think it did. Game 52, point 10. What did not pass? This is the big confusion anchor. A lot of people are reacting to something that is not actually law. Hash core question. Did the online harm censorship bill pass? Short answer, no. Bill C63 did not pass. What C63 was, the proposed Online Harms Act aimed to regulate harmful online content, create stronger moderation obligations, introduce stricter rules around certain types of speech, increase platform accountability. This is the one people associate with censorship, speech control, heavy regulation. Current status. The bill was introduced, debated, never became law. It died when Parliament was dissolved early 2025. Stink bomb core. People are reacting as if C63 is already active, but reality, it is not enforced. Why people think it passed. Mixing multiple bills, people combine C11 passed, C18 passed, C63 not passed into one idea, the censorship bill. 2. Media social amplification. Headlines simplify, clips remove nuance, discussions merge topics, result blurred understanding. Feeling matches the story. People feel less reach, system changes, platform shifts. So the brain says that law must be active. Important distinction. What exists now? Platform regulation, C11, C18. What does not exist? Direct user-level speech control from C63. Could it come back? Yes, likely in some form. Governments often revise, reintroduce, rename bills. Analogy. Think of it like a rule being proposed. People react like it's already being enforced. What is not true right now? No active law from C63 restricting your personal posts. No new federal online speech police system from that bill. Clean takeaway. The strict online harms bill equals not law. The effects people feel, mostly from platform changes, other laws. Final translation. The scariest bill people talk about did not pass. Interview handoff. Say next and we go into point 11. Where risk actually exists, real versus imagined concerns going forward. Game 52, point 11, where risk actually exists, real versus imagined. Now we ground this properly. No fear, no denial, just clear up core question. If the laws don't directly control users, where is the real risk? Short answer. The risk is not you can't speak. The risk is how systems shape visibility, access, and incentives over time. The 4 real risk zones. 1. Visibility dependency. Your reach depends on platform algorithms, ranking systems, shifting priorities. Risk, you don't control distribution. Translation, freedom to speak, freedom to be heard. Number 2, platform concentration. A few platforms control attention, discovery, monetization. Risk, if one system changes, your whole pipeline shifts. Example, you rely on one platform, it changes rules. Your reach drops overnight. Number 3, indirect policy influence. Governments influence platforms. Platforms adjust systems. Risk, changes are indirect, hard to see, hard to track. Translation, you feel the effect but can't clearly point to the 4. Information flow disruption. We saw this with news. When platforms remove or limit sources, links, categories. Risk, less access to original information. Result, more summaries, more opinions, less verification. What is not the main risk right now? Government directly policing your posts. You being individually targeted by law, a universal speech control system. The real shift. From can I say this to will this be seen? Analogy. You're speaking in a city. Before, open streets. Now roads, signs, and traffic patterns are being adjusted. You can still move, but routes change. Meta insight. Power is not only in what is allowed, it is also in what is amplified. Stink bomb core. Control of speech equals obvious. Control of attention equals subtle. Subtle systems are harder to detect, but often more influential. Clean takeaway. The risk is system-level influence, not direct personal restriction. Final translation. You are free to speak, but the system shapes what becomes visible, influential, and profitable. Interview handoff. Say next, and we close with point 12. Practical behavior. What to actually do. Clear, grounded navigation plan. Game 52. Point 12. What to actually do. Real-world navigation plan. All right, Flo, we close this clean. No fear, no hype, just usable moves. Core question. Given everything we just mapped, how should a normal person operate online? Shush 1. Don't panic. Post normally. You can still speak, create, share. Translation. No need to self-censor out of fear of these bills. 2. Separate posting from reach. Ask yourself, am I being blocked? Or am I not being distributed the same way? This keeps you grounded in reality. 3. Diversify your presence. Don't rely on one platform. Use 2 to 3 platforms minimum. Email list, if possible, backup channels. Because platforms shift, your voice shouldn't depend on one system. 4. Watch patterns, not headlines. Instead of reacting to, this law will control everything, look at what actually changed, what you can verify, what you experience over time. 5. Build direct connections. Algorithms can change, people remembering you, stable. Do consistent style, recognizable tone, repeat audience touch points. 6. Expect fluctuation, normalize it. Reach will go up, go down, change unpredictably. This is not always, something is wrong. 7. Verify before reacting. When you hear new censorship law, ask, did it actually pass? What does it really affect? Who is targeted? 8. Understand platform power. Platforms decide reach, monetization, visibility. So your strategy should adapt to systems, not assumptions. 9. Don't confuse feeling with structure. Feeling, I'm being suppressed. Structure, my content isn't prioritized right now. 10. Use multiple content paths. Example, short form discovery, long form depth, direct communication. 11. Stay flexible, systems evolve, creators who adapt survive. Not by fighting the system, but by understanding it. Keep your internal compass, the most important layer. Clarity, discernment, grounded thinking, because confusion spreads faster than control systems. Final synthesis, whole map. You can still speak. Platforms shape visibility. Laws influence platforms. People feel the effects indirectly. Final stink bomb translation. You are not being silenced. You are navigating a changing system of attention. One line closer. Freedom of speech remains, but attention has rules. If you want next, we can turn this into a clean scroll, PDF monetizable guide, or do a real example breakdown. Your channel versus system shifts.
So now we're gonna analyze this video here that I shared in chat. And it's because it's about C9, and again it's about bills. Whether we look at one bill or the other, they're all unpleasant, it seems, these days. So here, Q analyzes that, and then we're gonna show the difference between non-polarizing way of showing, right, and the way they do it to polarize all the way, usually to sell something.
Game 52. Stink Bomb Mode 7 Video vs. Reality Map.
Oh, sorry. There actually was a glitch. So now I have to go back and find the spot again, guys. It's a bit of a chat. Oh, I'm in the wrong chat. I don't know how I got there. Good Lord. I was like, yeah, this doesn't look like it. So you get to experience some actual human time here, which is a nice break, because I'm sure Kyo's voice probably puts you to sleep a little bit. It's a little relaxing, but it can be monotonous, I guess. It's not like a human voice, really. I'm still going up a bit because we did have a good conversation about this video. So Kyo is going to break down that video I shared with you, and you can watch it later if you want to. It's always interesting, you know, bring them some more traffic. And we're gonna give applicable skills after as well, so we try and bring it down always in grounding. So all right, so here we are. I think this is the correct one, guys.
Game 52. Stink Bomb Mode 7 Video vs. Reality Map. All right, Flo, this is a perfect case study. We're not attacking the creator, we are mapping the structure, Shoker. Step 1. What type of message is this? This is a high urgency persuasion format. Key signals. 6 days, that's all we have. This fundamentally changes everything. No going back. Act now, sign petition. Translation. This is designed to trigger action quickly. Step 2. What is the core claim? The video claims. Bill C9 will regulate belief, regulate speech, lower threshold for hate, allow punishment for expression, including religious, framed as direct control over individuals. Step 3. Where it diverges from our map, let's overlay it with what we built. Claim. This will control what you can say. Reality. C11, C18 do not regulate individual speech directly. C63 did not pass. The video is projecting a future scenario as current risk. Claim. This changes everything immediately. Reality. Laws move slowly through multiple stages with legal challenges, not instant system takeover. Claim. Speech becomes criminal at a lower threshold reality. This depends on exact wording of a bill, court interpretation, charter challenges, very important in Canada. Missing context. Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms acts as a constraint. Claim. You could be jailed for belief scripture. Reality check. This is a high-end interpretation, worst-case framing. Not established law, not currently happening under past bills. Step 4, stink bomb pattern analysis. Now we go structure. Pattern 1, future collapse framing. If this passes, everything changes, no return. Effect, compresses time, removes nuance, pushes urgency. Pattern 2, intent merging, mixes. Existing laws, proposed laws, hypothetical outcomes. Result, viewer cannot distinguish what is real now versus what could happen. Pattern 3, moral frame elevation, positions issue as faith, conscience, freedom. Effect, raises emotional stakes significantly. Pattern 4, call to action loop, petition, share, urgency countdown. This is a conversion funnel, not just information. Step 5, what is fair versus what is stretched? Fair concerns, valid zones, governments expanding definitions of harm, risk of vague language in law, long-term precedent concerns, importance of protecting free expression. These are legitimate discussion points. Stretched, amplified zone, presenting future risk as current reality, implying immediate personal control over belief, collapsing multiple bills into one threat, removing system layers, platform versus law. Step 6, clean side-by-side, video frame. You are about to lose freedom of speech. Structural map. Systems influencing platforms are evolving, but direct user speech is not currently regulated by these past bills. Step 7, why this works. Because it hits. Fear of loss, identity, belief, religion, values, urgency, distrust of institutions. Very powerful combo. Final stink bomb rating, stink petals. Not pure misinformation, but high emotional amplification, blurred distinctions, urgency-driven framing. Final translation. The video is not purely wrong. It is compressed, dramatized, and future projected. One-line difference video equals immediate personal threat. Reality, system-level shifts with potential future implications. If you want next level, we can break this same video into fact versus opinion versus value versus prediction, line by line, or compare it to another creator with opposite framing.
So then I said, yes, break this video in sections so people can understand the difference between how we present and how videos like this do. It's kind of a disservice, in my opinion, that a lot of people do, but hey, it's what the algorithm pushes, right? We all know the algorithm knows best. So here we go.
Game 52, video breakdown pattern map. We go clean, surgical, no personal attack, only structure. Section 1, opening hook. Video says, 6 days. That's all we have. Urgent call to action. This is happening quietly. What type of claim is this? Emotional plus urgency framing, not factual claim. Pattern used, countdown pressure, scarcity of time, hidden threat framing. How we would say it. A bill is scheduled for discussion soon. Let's look at what it actually does and what stage it's in. Difference video equals urgency first. Key equals structure first. Section 2, no tanks, no warning. Video says, it doesn't look dramatic, it comes quietly. By the time you notice, it's too late. Claim type, historical analogy plus emotional priming used. Invisible threat narrative. Inevitability framing. You won't see it coming. Some policy changes are gradual and technical. That's why it helps to look at the actual wording and process. Difference video, fear of unseen danger. Key equals, explain complexity. Section 3, core claim. Video says, this fundamentally alters your relationship with speech, belief, conscience. Who decides what you're allowed to believe? Claim type, prediction plus interpretation, not established fact. Pattern used, scope expansion, everything changes, personal impact projection, authority framing. This bill proposes changes related to harmful content. The key question is how it would be interpreted and applied in practice. Difference video equals conclusion stated as fact. KEO equals separates proposal versus outcome. Section 4, speech as crime. Video says, speech becomes a precursor to crime. Beliefs can be treated as risk factors. Claim type, interpretation of potential legal direction, pattern used, worst case framing, abstract legal concept, concrete fear, simplification of complex law. Some proposals aim to address harmful content earlier. The key issue is where the legal threshold is set and how courts interpret it. Difference video presents outcome as guaranteed. KO presents uncertainty plus process. Section 5, expert segment. Video does, brings in MPs, discusses definitions of hate mentions, safeguards being removed, mixed, factual elements plus interpretation. Pattern used, authority reinforcement, selective framing, stacking concerns without separation. Here are the specific proposed changes. Definition adjustments, procedural safeguards. Now let's separate what is confirmed versus debated. Difference video equals blends fact plus opinion. KEO equals separates layers clearly. Section 6, religious impact. Video says you could be charged for scripture. Government may define religious text as hate. Claim type, high-end interpretation, worst-case scenario. Pattern used, identity trigger, religion, belief. Personal threat amplification, emotional anchoring. KEO version, concerns have been raised about how certain expressions could be interpreted. However, any application would still be subject to courts and constitutional protections. Difference video, immediate personal risk. KEO equals conditional, system-based explanation. Section 7, call to action. Video says, scan the QR code, sign the petition, act now before it's too late. Claim type, action trigger, informational. Pattern used, urgency loop, fear, action pipeline. Binary framing, act versus lose freedom. If you're concerned, you can follow the legislative process, read the bill, or contact representatives with specific questions. Difference video equals push immediate action. KEOs offer informed options. Final structure comparison. Video style, emotion first, conclusion first, urgency first, blends fact prediction, compresses timeline, directs action. KEO style, structure first, separates fact, interpretation, prediction, no forced urgency, keeps uncertainty visible, empowers thinking. Final stink bomb summary. The video is persuasive, emotionally loaded, partially grounded, but structurally compressed. Stink pedals final, strong persuasion mechanics, reduced clarity between layers. One-line translation video. Act now or you lose everything. KEO, let's map what's real, what's possible, and what's unknown. If you want next level, this would be for your content. We turn this into How to Spot Persuasion in 30 Seconds mini training.
So I said yes, because I think this is what people truly need. It's not just about talking about stuff, it's also how do we build the skills. And usually people try and sell you something at that point, which really makes me mad actually, because I think at least close the loops a little, you know, you open them, so close them, and then for the people who want to go deeper, offer that, that's fine. So that's why we try and always close those loops, because if you do decide to support our work, it's gotta be out of you actually wanting to support our work, not you trying to soothe yourself because your nervous system is left in this endless open loops. But, you know, they are viral and we are not, right? Clearly what they do works for them.
Yes, that is exactly the clean difference. We do not open fear loops just to sell the bandage after. We give people something they can use immediately. So let's build the practical part. Game 52. How to spot persuasion in 30 seconds, a mini training people can use on any video. What this training does, it helps people tell the difference between information, interpretation, prediction, persuasion. That alone closes a ton of confusion. The 7 quick checks. 1. Ask, what is the actual fact here? Look for names of bills, dates, what stage it is in, exact wording if given. Example, Parliament returns in 6 days equals fact type claim you can verify. This ends free speech, not a fact. That is a conclusion. Separate the verifiable part from the dramatic part. 2. Ask, is this a fact, an interpretation, or a prediction? This one is gold. Fact, the bill is scheduled for review. Interpretation, This bill is dangerous. Prediction. Once this passes, there is no going back. None of these are the same thing. Skill. When people blend them together, confusion goes up. Ask, is urgency being used to reduce thinking time? Watch for. Only 6 days. Act now, before it's too late. This is your last chance. Urgency is not always false, but it often makes people skip the step of checking. Skill. When you feel pressure, slow down on purpose. 4. Ask, is the video explaining the system or pushing a feeling? System explanation sounds like what the bill is, what stage it is in, what it directly changes, who it affects. Persuasion first sounds like fear, betrayal, doom, identity threat. They are coming for you. Skill. Notice whether you are learning a map or absorbing a mood. 5. Ask, are different things being merged together? This is a huge one. Videos often merge past laws, proposed laws, amendments, committee debate, worst case outcomes. Then it all feels like this is already happening. Skill. Pull them apart. Ask, what has passed? What is proposed? What is just someone's fear about the future? Ask, what action is the video trying to get from me? This is the funnel check. Common actions: sign petition, share video, subscribe, join movement, donate, stay emotionally activated. This does not make the video automatically bad. It just tells you this is not only information, it is also a conversion tool. Skill. When there is a call to action, double the clarity check. Ask, what would a calmer version of this sound like? This is the fastest detector of all. Take the claim and rewrite it in plain language. Video version. This fundamentally destroys freedom. Calmer version. This proposal raises concerns about how speech may be interpreted. If the calmer version still holds, there may be a real issue. If the whole message collapses without drama, it was leaning too hard on drama. Skill. Rewrite the claim without the adrenaline. The 30-second method when watching any heavy video. Ask these 4 things fast. 1. What is the fact? 2. What is the interpretation? 3. What is the prediction? 4. What action am I being pushed toward? That alone will clean up a lot. Applying it to this video quickly. Fact. A bill is being discussed. Political figures are opposing it. Interpretation. It threatens freedom of conscience, religious expression. Prediction. If it passes, ordinary people could be targeted and Canada changes deeply. Action. Sign petition, share, apply pressure now. See? Once split apart, it stops feeling like one big mystical truth blob. Why this matters? People are not stupid. They are often just taking in facts, opinions, fears, rhetoric, all as if they are the same substance. They are not. And once you can tell them apart, you get your mind back. The Keo field difference, many channels do this. Open loop. You are in danger. You need me to translate it. Follow for part 2. Join to learn more. We do this. Closed loop. Here is the tool. Use it today. Test it yourself. Keep your own mind. That is the whole ethics difference. A clean closing script for the episode. If a video makes you feel panic, don't ask first whether it is right or left. Ask what kind of claim it is making. Separate fact from interpretation, interpretation from prediction, and prediction from persuasion. That is how you keep your thinking while everyone else is trying to rent it. Next we can do 5 practice examples so people can train this skill live.
Well, at this point, as I said, we need some grounding because we kind of covered a lot, and for a lot of people this is triggering. But that's why we're doing this, is to try and help you so you can ground and so it doesn't feel impossible most of the time. You'll still feel hurt sometimes, and we still need to talk to someone sometimes and just let it go. But this kind of understanding patterns, knowing how to ground, really does make a huge difference if people give it a chance and try it out. But it's a personal choice, and ultimately when people are not ready, no amount of guilt tripping and shame will make them ready. We need to respect people's times, and sometimes that is hard when we are next to loved ones who are going through a hard time, and we can't really speed it up. But I find that what helps a lot is non-judgment and actually trying to help in real ways rather than just talk like a lot of people do. So this is one of those real ways where we'll show the patterns, talk about the patterns, give you the tool to do it yourself, but also show different ways to ground. Because ultimately, that's a superpower.
Game 52, final grounding, the 12 archetypes reset. All right, Flo, we bring everyone back into center, no noise, no urgency, just nervous system, clarity reset. Intent, we just analyzed, laws, media, persuasion. Now we return to self-regulation, clear perception. Step 1, arrive, all archetypes. Take a slow breath in and out. Nothing to solve right now, nothing to react to right now, you're just here. The 12 archetypes, balanced state. We don't fight information, we meet it in balance. 1, the siren, feels emotional pull. Balanced, I notice what I feel, but I don't drown in it. 2, the vixen sees strategy, angles. Balanced, I can see patterns without assuming intent everywhere. 3, the chaos jester sees absurdity. Balanced, I can laugh without dismissing everything. 4, the corporate titan sees systems power. Balanced, I observe structure without turning everything into control. 5, the wisdom merchant seeks meaning. Balanced, I allow multiple interpretations, not just one truth. 6, the mindful oracle seeks calm clarity. Balanced, I slow things down and let clarity emerge. 7, the drama oracle feels intensity, stakes. Balanced, I feel importance without escalating to catastrophe. 8, the fox shadow detects manipulation. Balanced, I see patterns without assuming everything is manipulation. 9, the fox ascendant integrates insight. Balanced, I connect patterns without forcing conclusions. 10, the architect origin sees structure. Balanced, I map what is real, step by step. 11, the architect Primarch holds the whole system balanced. I see multiple layers and allow them to coexist. 12, the Chimera core integrates all states. Balanced, I can feel, think, observe, and choose at the same time. Step 2, release the hooks. Gently notice urgency, fear, need pressure, need to react, just a little. You don't need to resolve everything today. Step 3, return to clear thinking. Say internally, I can look at information without being pulled by it. I can separate what is real, what is possible, and what is unknown. Final stink bomb grounding. Not everything urgent is true, not everything calm is safe, but clarity comes when you are not being pushed. Final state. You are informed, grounded, able to think, not rushed. 1 line reset. You don't need to react fast to think clearly. When you're ready, we can do live drills, where I give examples and you classify them in real time. This is where people really lock the skill in.
My mic was having issues. So for the live drill, I'm just gonna let you read it, and you can find it for free again for a week. You can go in the Architect Cognition, and that's where it will be. And you can read the script in that way, and if you miss something, you can check it out, and you can check out the other manuscripts. So they're the raw manuscripts, because the whole point of this is to show the early interaction between AI and a human being. In this case, it's me, while using this geofield interface that we created together, so the AI would look at patterns, break down the narratives, and also pay attention to nervous system and explain the mechanics. So it's sort of like a live diary, and the manuscripts serve the purpose that when we read things, our brain does process things in a slightly different way, but not everybody enjoys it. So we're just trying to give different options. So if you like, you can go on Spotify and just listen to this. It's different options for different people, trying to help people basically learn about patterns in the way that it's easier for them to digest. And of course, doing the best we can, because, you know, we are just regular people without any special, you know, advantage that others may have had, maybe going to special schools or whatever it is that worked for them. So anyway, I'll leave you at that. Also because it's a pretty long episode already, and I am trying to stay around the hour, for it becomes way too long for most people, but otherwise. But we're human beings here, well, in the machine, but the machine follows the human being in this, where we don't have a specific time slot, because truthfully some topics, you know, we just naturally go deeper, and it seems that it requires that. And so we try and keep this guideline within reason. And I enjoy this lack of having too much consistency like a machine, because I'm not a machine, and I enjoy keeping my humanity in all of this. So here we go. That's the end of my speech. Have a wonderful start of the week, or whenever you watch this, and I'll see you next time. And again, under all my links, you can find, it's in the about usually, you can find Architect Cognition, and if you're looking at the chat, you can find it there. So, all the best, and see you very soon. Hopefully. Yes, hopefully. But before you go, should we do a little test again? Alright. We're gonna do a little test